Hello friends, so I am almost to the meetup in Clarksville, Tennessee with all the puppies. Hello friends, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So I am at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I'm utterly exhausted. So as you know, we had rescued a whole bunch of puppies, 8 puppies, coonhound mixes, and we were able to find homes for the vast majority of them. Last night at 11:45 p.m. I got up, got dressed, and Mr. Smith and I loaded up the puppies in the back of my truck, and I drove all night to get here to Fort Campbell. I'm sitting here on my daughter-in-law and son's front porch. They were instrumental in finding homes for most of these puppies. We do have a rescue group that is picking up the last 2 tomorrow. They are going to Pennsylvania, and after that I'll come back here, load up, and then head back to Arkansas. But there was a little bit of a hiccup with all of this. Before I get into that, I've had a couple of people notice the bruises on my arms. Yes, I've got some doozies. This side too, and that is from climbing into the dog pen. We got these puppies, and then Mr. Smith was gone out of town for a week, and we had just this makeshift pen for the dogs, and it was basically almost like a stall in a barn, about the same size, lined with straw and all of that. Well, multiple times a day, I was going into the stall, I was scooping it out, keeping it clean, and all of that. I would lay down fresh straw, and then after everything was all nice and clean, then I would go ahead and feed them. And, these puppies were dumped in the woods, and they were hungry, and so they were inhaling their food, which is very unhealthy and kind of dangerous. And, we had a dog years ago who did the same thing, and I had to get a special bowl to make her eat slower. It didn't do much, but it did slow her down a little bit. And with these 8 puppies, what I did is I would take their food. I would feed them several times a day in smaller portions, but I would sprinkle it into the clean straw. That way they would actually have to look for the food, and in doing that, was able to slow them down and get them to where they were actually chewing their food. But of course, in order to do all of that, I had to get into that pen. Well, if I opened one of the corners, what happened is all the puppies would come running out. And with Mr. Smith being out of town and me not really having help, because my other daughter-in-law and son and grandbaby are there in Arkansas. However, they've got work and the baby and all of that. So they couldn't always help me either. And so what I was doing, and I know this is so incredibly dangerous, I had a feed can, which is just a big metal trash can, setting outside the pen, I would take a smaller feed can, lower it down into the corner of the pen, and then I was climbing over the cattle panel into the pen with 8 puppies trying to jump on me like piranhas the whole time. And so one of those times I slipped because the can I was stepping onto tipped over with the puppies, and that's what happened to my arms. And actually, I think that happened a couple of times, now that I think about it. I know, probably wasn't the smartest move, but you know what? It's all good. And I won't have to do that anymore because the puppies are now out of there. So, you know, we got up this morning, and part of the reason I drove all night was because it was supposed to be 103 degrees in Arkansas today. I was deeply concerned about the puppies' welfare because I drive a pickup truck, and these puppies were in the bed of my truck, and I was worried about them having a heat stroke. So I took a nap yesterday afternoon, got up at 11:45. Like I said, we loaded up the puppies, and in the back seat of my truck, I had a cooler with milk jugs, gallon milk jugs of frozen water, and I had those in case it started getting hot outside, so I could put blocks of ice in with the puppies to cool them down. Thankfully, it never got more than 79 degrees on the drive, and so I arrived here in the Clarksville area, met the people who were getting their puppies, and all went well. And all of that was done before it got too incredibly hot here. Now, we did have a little bit of a hiccup, though. There was one family that was going to take 2 of the puppies. They were going to take 2 of the boys. And to be honest, I was a little concerned about it because there's this thing called littermate syndrome, where when you get 2 puppies from the same litter, they bond to each other and they don't bond to the humans. And sometimes that can cause problems with the dogs becoming aggressive and not seeing you as part of their pack. And that is something that is very common. And I was really concerned about this happening. At the same time, one of the little girls, Layla, who you saw in another update video, the people who were going to adopt her, it fell through. So she was going to go to the person who was going to foster a puppy. But then an hour out from me arriving, that family who was going to get the 2 puppies decided they only wanted 1. And I was a little frustrated, but only for a moment, because I thought, well, I didn't want to have to bring a puppy here and then turn around and take it all the way back. But it dawned on me, wait a minute, that's the 2 boys. I was concerned about the littermate syndrome. So why don't we have the foster take the other little boy, and then the little girl is going to come home with us. So tomorrow morning, I will be getting up, meeting with the rescue that is taking Nomi and Dash up to Pennsylvania. It is called Hound Haven at Lone Pine. And they will start on their next leg of their journey. And little Miss Ruby is going to come back to Arkansas with me. And yeah, so it has been a very nice visit. My daughter-in-law is very pregnant, oh my goodness, with little baby Emma. And we went out to dinner. We went to it's kind of a staple place for us called the Black Horse Tavern, I think it is, or brewery, something like that. Very good food. We've eaten there a few times, and every time we've gone, it's been fantastic. But yeah, so that's a little bit of an update on the puppies. And tomorrow morning I'll be heading back to Arkansas. But tonight I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I did take a nap this afternoon. I don't even barely remember laying my head down. But I'll get a good night's sleep tonight, meet the rescue in the morning, and then head back to Arkansas. It's been a short visit, but it's been a good visit. And I'll be coming back again in July when little Miss Emma makes an appearance. So that is the last update on the whole litter of puppies. But before I end this, I do want to say a humongous humongous thank you to all of you who donated financially to help out with these puppies. That funding was able to pay for all of the vet care for the puppies. Able to pay for all of their food. I was able to purchase a bag of food for every family who took a puppy, which reminds me, the family who was fostering the little boy, that might not be a foster situation because it looks like they were pretty much in love with him. They were actually dog sitting for another family who wouldn't be able to take their puppy right away for a couple of weeks. So they do temporarily have 2 of the puppies, but the one who was going to be a foster, yeah, he may have found his home, which is really exciting. So again, thank you to everyone who donated. In case you missed the announcement or where I had said that, any money that was donated that was left over, an abundance of funds, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to donate the overflow to the rescue that is taking those 2 dogs. Rescues are charities, and they can only do what they do because of donations that are made to them. And so all of the extra funding that I have in abundance, thanks to you guys, is going to go to them to help with the puppies and the other dogs that they care for. So that is it for today. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I will see you again at the homestead.